This is for 3+ PQE barristers and lawyers who are flat out most of the time, not just for short stretches of time, but they're busy for days, weeks, months, and even years at a time. And at some point, being busy stopped being just a phase in their practice and became how they practice and how they operated. And I bet, if you're being honest, you stay busy because that's proof that you're relevant, that you're valuable, that people rely on you, that you're in demand. And I want to say it kindly, that's where the problem starts. The things that you think are protecting you, your career, and your practice, they're the things that are holding you back. They're wearing you down because being always on, that has replaced efficiency and effectiveness. Reacting has replaced intentional decisions and actions that follow. It's not the work that's too hard for you. It's that days and weeks, months and years are running you. And the workload, it doesn't become manageable all by itself. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It doesn't fix itself. Decisions don't get easier by themselves. The pressure doesn't lift by itself. Your energy levels don't bounce back by themselves. But you keep functioning, you keep delivering, and most barristers and lawyers complain of the same thing. They're tired, they're not working as efficiently as that they want to be, but they just keep going and keep pushing harder until their next break. But let me be really clear about what changing this actually involves. That means stepping back, not from the work per se, but stepping back from reacting. It means changing your beliefs, which change your identity and change your actions so that you show up as the best version of you. You need to get really clear about what you want in your practice, your career, and your life, so that then you can prepare your days, your weeks, and your months and your years. How do you decide under pressure? How do you want to be doing that? How much do you want to carry in your head and have it ruminating over and over? How much work do you want to be carrying home? And how much time do you want to be giving to work and taking away from other things that are important to you? And I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong. I'm saying that this is how most barristers and lawyers have been taught, or it's what they've seen other people do, so they've followed it. Be the legal expert. That's enough. Yeah, it's important, but we're taught as in the legal profession, that's all you need to succeed. Be available, be always on, be reliable, and accept that legal success requires sacrificing everything else that's important to you. So changing this does require you becoming, firstly, the best version of yourself, integrating high performance habits, because your legal capability and competence isn't the issue. The habits you're using, who you believe you are and what you're capable of, and the systems that you're operating under are. So when you're operating at your best and your day and your week and your month is set up for efficiency, well, things automatically shift. You don't start Monday, dreading Monday and the rest of the week, and then start reacting to whatever comes in the door, comes via email, comes into your calendar or diary, because decisions are already made. They're aligned to your values and priorities. Your time is already scheduled in your calendar. You know how you're going to show up and communicate in every room, regardless of who you're up against or what the issues are or how difficult or whatever is thrown at you or how difficult the situation is. And you're not constantly catching up and feeling like you're behind, and then that translates, I'm afraid to take a break because that will be a risk to me in my career or my practice. You will work fewer hours without losing any trust. You'll be willing and be capable of setting boundaries, saying no, setting and enforcing those boundaries, so without any career or reputational damage. You'll find that you're more collaborative, your team is more collaborative, and they're built to be high performers as well, because you're leading, you're role modeling what high performance leadership means, because you've integrated the high performance habits. You have more energy, you're not always exhausted. And from the outside, the work is still getting done. From the inside, you stop carrying everything around with you like a heavy, dead weight. Your time starts being treated like what it truthfully is, your most valuable resource. And you notice the difficulties that you're experiencing in practice when you stop, whether it's through choice or whether it's forced upon you. Maybe you've got a half day of meetings, you've got a bit of time spare, a weekend where nothing is urgent at work, but you still check your phone and your emails anyway. A break that you hang out all year for to take, that you survive the year to look forward to that end of year break. Or maybe it's when you're in bed at night, when no one else is around, that's when it hits. So it's not one bad week, it's a pattern. It's your default habits. It's how you practice, communicate, lead, perform on a daily basis. How do you deal with emotional and demanding clients? Do you have difficult conversations? Do you address conflict within your team? How do you address conflict when you're at a mediation or negotiation? You feel the responsibility of leading your teams and being and creating a profitable business. Often you may be more aligned with just rolling with the punches and seeing what shows up in your day and your week and your year. And that really does create stress. And you think about and you constantly go over what you said you thought was wrong, or you made a mistake and what it may cost you. Or taking that break and thinking, I'm going to be punished for this when I return. I'm going to be flooded with emails and I'm going to feel even more behind, and that it adds even more stress. So it's those breaks that help you come to realise how difficult it is and when you're going back to work and you're having to deal with the same patterns without relief. So once you take those breaks, you go back to work, and what happens? Well, those patterns restart again. Your default habits kick in, and you've got another day, another week, another month, and another year on repeat. Same long hours, same unrelenting pressure, same expectations, same drain, same results, same way of operating. And often that's because of the beliefs most lawyers pick up early in their career. Not deliberately. It falls because it's what's expected and that's what's rewarded in the profession. Such as busy means you're valuable. Being available, working long hours, that means you're reliable. Saying yes, that means you're committed. It will benefit you later. Asking for help, that means you're weak. Keep your humanity at the door. It's not for lawyers or legal practice. All you need is strong legal skills to be successful. That's all you need in law. And those beliefs build your identity and decide what actions you will take or you won't take. It's what most lawyers believe other people expect of lawyers. But your beliefs, your identity, and your actions don't change even when it's not working or you're not getting the results that you want. You keep operating the same way. But now, as the years roll on, there's more at stake and you're operating, creating more risk. And most lawyers hope that once they reach a certain level in their career or they attain a level of financial success, things will stabilise and things will be easier. But you know what? The pressure increases because most decisions land on you. Most people and more people wait on you. You're more responsible for the results. More risk sits with you because you've got the title, and you've also got the experience. And there's another point that matters as well. If you stop being needed everywhere, you worry that it's going to be so much easier to replace you. When you're less relied on, less visible, and that's one of the reasons why most lawyers take everything on themselves and they don't ask for help in case it's used against them later. And the big problems that you're dealing with on a daily basis aren't often big legal problems. They're people problems. Clients, teams, counterparts, yourself, and setting boundaries, saying no, knowing what to say yes to, what to say no to. You weren't taught how to do that. You weren't taught how to enforce them. You weren't taught how to be influential when you communicate, how to resolve conflict with influence and persuasion rather than using force or control or aggression. Or you weren't taught how to use your time in a way that gets the work done really efficiently at a high level and with high quality, but also using it in a way that benefits you, not making everything that you do harder. Legal expertise doesn't fix any of that, because the reality is you don't always control how much work comes in or what lands in your calendar. But what you do control is this: how you show up as the best version of you, how you make decisions, how your time gets used, where your focus goes once everything in your environment is busy, how you communicate, how you lead others, how intentional you are in your day, when you take breaks, how often, and what do you want to accomplish? What are your goals? What's your ambition? What direction are you going in? How are you going to get there? That's what you're in control of. But without systems, everything that your lawyers and barristers do feels overwhelming and it feels pressurized. And efficiency drops, energy drains, relationships are damaged, results are compromised, performance is lowered, and if nothing changes, that just becomes the norm. High performance isn't about pushing harder, working harder. It's about integrating habits that help you prepare, perform, and lead as high performers under pressure when decisions, credibility, results, and reputation are on the line without the drain. And I want to give you 3 examples. Sam, he was a senior lawyer and a decision maker. I've changed the names, obviously. He was a perfectionist, and as a result, he procrastinated. Not because he didn't know the law, he did. He was very well versed in the law. But because he procrastinated, because the decisions that he had to make felt risky unless they were perfect. And we all know there's no perfect decision. So drafts sat waiting, how he approached his work delayed him. He distracted himself constantly. He filled his time with low-risk work. He loved scrolling on social media, and he took on tasks that looked productive, but they didn't move anything. And the backlog of his work grew. And he knew that the conversation with his boss was coming, that his boss was going to hold him to account. Once we worked together, we put decision-making and focus systems in place, as well as mindset systems in place, so that he was able to prepare and execute at a high level. Well, things changed. Decisions were made quicker. He didn't ruminate and hold himself in one place, not being able to move because he was fearful of making a mistake. And as a result, the backlog of his work was reduced by about half within 6 months. His hours of work came down, not because the work disappeared, but because he stopped being the bottleneck to his work, his efficiency, and he was able to accomplish a lot more. Next, I'll talk about Mallory, who ran her own practice. She was ambitious. She wanted more in her career. She loved her kids, loved her partner, but wherever she was spending her time, she felt pulled in different directions. There were other priorities, her kids, her partner, her work, and responsibilities that she knew that she had. But she believed that if she wasn't making money, everything else that she was giving her time to was unproductive. Time with her family, yes, it occurred, but she wasn't present. Her week wasn't planned. She was inefficient and she was also exhausted. Once we worked together, put systems in place to plan her weeks, manage her energy and her mindset, and also schedule her time, everything changed for her. Her time was protected, relationships improved, energy increased. She didn't make herself small and shrink herself and accept, well, this is just the way it is. She stopped being so stretched thin and she stopped accepting the status quo that this is as good as it gets. She made decisions that actually changed her trajectory. She grew her practice and everything in her life improved. And lastly, Sophia, she was also running a busy practice, carrying most of the load at home as well. Staff came to her, relied on her. She was a soft touch. They shared with her her personal problems that they were having and why they weren't being as productive as they needed to be. She didn't hold anyone accountable, even though she was a great quality she had. She was very empathetic. But all decisions came back to her and through her. Staff issues, conflicts within her team, they weren't resolved. When anything was uncomfortable, she took responsibility for it herself, and most of the time she put the issues under the rug. She avoided hard conversations because it felt so much easier for her to deal with things herself or else pretend that they didn't exist because the work was still getting done. Everything felt overwhelming and really hard. We worked together to install high performance habits. Again, she got some real leverage in the way that she showed up in practice because her expectations for herself and for others changed. Those expectations were very clear. They were communicated more effectively. Responsibility of what she controlled moved to where it belonged, and what other people had to take responsibility also moved. She had hard conversations at home and also in the office. Time she used to be efficient in the office, but also for things that she loved doing. Her team was more productive and they also trusted her more. She slept better, had more energy, felt more in control, not because she gave up work or didn't have her focus on work at all. No, but because she started to trust herself. Her team trusted her more. Her expectations for herself and others around her were clear. And that impacted how other people responded to her, and that improved her productivity as well as her team and the culture in the firm. And all three of them had the same issue. They didn't have a lack of legal skills. They didn't have a lack of effort or hard work. They were high achieving lawyers, but they were operating without systems once they were already under high pressure and having to deal with high pressure on a daily basis. But when systems are in place, the work still gets done. It just starts positively impacting how you show up and everything you do, because it becomes much less effort with less time required, and you feel more energetic and feel a lot more confident. I open High Performance Lawyers once a month, which is the one-on-one coaching program that I work with 3+ PQE barristers and lawyers. And I only work with 15 lawyers or barristers each month. So availability varies each month. But if you want access before it opens publicly, you can join the waitlist using the link below, and I'll contact you. I'll provide you all the details once the doors open again. And the details will show you how we work together, how it works on a practical basis, what we focus on, what you'll accomplish, what it will do for you, and also so that we can see whether it's a right fit or it's both.